Your online store is getting traffic, but no sales. Or you're struggling to optimize.
Whatever. I was like, yo, that right there, like, it made me be like, you know what? This shit ain't for me. This shit ain't for me. So me and my baby mom, I was like, yo, let's move back to Jersey. I don't know nobody there. You don't know nobody. We'll go to Jersey. Went there, started working odd jobs again. Wasn't getting the money that I was used to getting. So I'm walking past, I'm literally downtown Paterson, New Jersey, and I'm walking past a recruiting station. And I'm looking, and it's like, oh, $25,000 signing bonus, this and that. So I'm like, damn, this was in 99. And I'm looking, I was like, man, I should try it out. So I walked in. I started talking to the Army recruiter. He was telling me all this good. He was like, you know, let's run it. So we ended up going to Brooklyn, filling out all the paperwork. I did the ASVAB, took the ASVAB pass. They got the job as a tanker, which is 19 kilo in the military. Got that, shipped me off to basic training. So I'm in the military. I'm doing great. I got awards that, got ranked up, went up to like an E6, got awards for everything I did in the military. And then one day we came back from Iraq and I went on leave. I went on it was a 30-day leave from coming back. And when I came back and went on leave, there was a new sergeant that came in. And he was like, he wanted to meet me because he was my first line supervisor. So he's like, going to my house. There was a female that was staying with me. I was up in New York. There was a female that was staying with me, and he kept going to the house like, where's Rodriguez at? Where's Rodriguez at? And she was like, he's not here. I'm like, all right, when I get back, don't worry. It's military information. You got your company. You're in groups of platoons, 1 through 3 or 4. You got the lieutenants up front, the captain up front, the first sergeant up front. So I'm standing in formation, and he looks at me. He's like, Sergeant, after formation, we need to step to the back and have a conversation. And I was like, oh, we definitely do.
Well, what do you think he's going to
leave? So when we go to the back of the formation, we start talking, and I got a little upset. And, I started cussing, like, don't ever come to my fucking house again, whatever. And then we started arguing, and we ended up started fighting in front of everybody. So with that, I got sent to my captain's office. When I walk into my captain's office, kind of like a desk like this. And, I come in there with my first line supervisor, the first sergeant, everybody, and I'm standing there. And the captain, he was a Ranger. So he looks at me and he's like, oh, what happened? I was trying to explain it to him. He didn't want to hear it. He was like, you know what? I don't believe you. I think you're full of shit. I heard you were nothing but trouble, blah, 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 saying a whole bunch of shit. And then he stood up, slammed his hands on the desk. And he was like, if it was up to me, I'd snatch your ass from behind this desk. So I leaned back and was like, oh, really? And I stepped back and I was like, sir, with all due respect, if you reach over that desk, I'm going to snatch you from behind your desk. So he just started yelling, get out of my office, blah, blah, blah. They sent me to the colonel, right across the street. So I go to the colonel's office. Everybody's there. We walk in the colonel's office, He looks at me. The captain tells him what happened, blah, 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 what I said to him. So the colonel basically said the same shit. He was like, you're going to end up either dead or in jail with your attitude, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking at him like, all right, sir. I was like, you know what? Honestly, your opinion don't matter shit to me. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. And the colonel looked at me, literally, he was like, I'll have you out the military in 3 days. And his ass had me, I had an escort, take me around everywhere I had to go, clearing everything. He had me out the military in 3 days.
You know how every year there's that one person that's impossible to shop for? You're walking around the store or scrolling online thinking, this person doesn't need anything. But this year, I found the perfect gift. Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. Honorable discharge or
it was general. It was general
okay.
Under honorable conditions. It was general under honorable conditions.
They just didn't want, you just weren't one of the good men that, or one of the, they looking for a few good men, and they decided you weren't one of their good men.
Because, I still had a little bit of like street mentality.
Yeah.
I'm young. I joined when I was 19. I'm in my early 20s. So I still had that dumb mentality, really. Because it was dumb as hell.
You show me respect.
Yeah, that type of shit. That type of dumbass attitude.
Yeah.
And so after that, again, I started working odd jobs. My daughter was born at this time. So my son lives in Jersey with his mom. My daughter was born with my other baby mom. We in Georgia. I'm working odd jobs for Comcast and just dumb shit. And I'm like, damn, man, this ain't working. So I go to a VA career center. And I'm talking to one of the guys that's a VA career center person. And I'm like, I'm looking for a job, but I need something that's good, like that's gonna pay bills, not these little odd jobs that I'm struggling out here. So he was like, yo, the only thing I got right now is a prison. He was like, man, the prisons are hiring like crazy. He was like, and you're ex-military, they'll hire you like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you think so? He was like, oh, I know so. He said, man, go in there, go for the interview, I'll set it up, and I promise you they'll hire you on the spot. So I do that. I go into the interview, speaking to a lieutenant, and then he's looking like, my little bootleg resume that I made up, and he's looking at it. He was like, oh, you're ex-military. I was like, yes, sir. He was like, were you combat? I was like, yeah, combat arms, 464 armor. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, man, you're hired. That was it. There was no conversation. He was like, you're hired. I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, I'm going to set it up for you to go to BCOT, which is Basic Correctional Officer Training. In Georgia, it's only 30 days. You go to Basic Correctional Officer Training for 30 days. You don't need nothing but a high school diploma. BCOT, did that for the 30 days, came back, and then I started working in the prison. I was working at Rogers State Prison. That was the first prison I started working at.
How many inmates?
A total of, I think, 12 to 1,400 inmates on the whole compound.
How many staff?
Not enough. They probably had like one officer in each building.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then you got your utility officers and your lieutenants.
Yeah,
captains.
rack and
yeah. You got your rec.
So we're talking about like 50 guys, 60 guys?
Probably.
Okay.
And then you got your outside detail guys. So yeah, it was crazy.
What did they start at?
At that time when I started there, it was at like, I think $30,000 a year.
What year?
In 2003.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
In Georgia it wasn't.
Yeah.
Especially in Georgia. Because then for a while I was still renting an apartment in Hinesville, Georgia. And then one of the lieutenants come up to me, they're like, you ever thought about living around here? Like, it was in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I never thought about it. He said, man, you won't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
Everything's free. You just got to live on, next to the prison.
You work overtime. And
and you're right there. Like, I could literally walk to the job. So I was like, shit, all right, I'll do it. Ended up moving on the compound, like right next to the prison. I could literally look out my back window and see the whole prison. So I did that. I'm working. At first, when I first got the job.
One more question. You say prison. Like, what is this, like a pen, medium, low? What's
the first one, Rogers, is a minimum medium.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a minimum medium prison. They got outside detail guys coming in and out the back gate, mostly every day of the week.
Oh, we're gonna be neighbors.
Yeah, I'm about to file my LLC. What's with all the hands?
I'm getting a hand from LegalZoom. They handle my legal stuff, so I can handle my books.
But why? There's so many smart influencers who give advice.
You need an LLC, an S Corp.
A C Corp.
Every business is different. LegalZoom helps you figure out the best way to start yours.
Really?
Sweet.
Mostly every day of the week. So when I first started working there, I tried to treat it like it was a street, like I was on the street.
Right.
Like I'm trying to, I'm giving the guys, like I'm talking to them like we guys on the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I started treating them. A couple of times, at first it was, let me test the new guy. You know what I'm saying? And me being who I am and where I'm from, I'm like, yo, I don't care about all of that. Like, you want to fight, we could fight. That's how I used to approach people. Like, if that's the timing that you're on, I'm on that same type of timing.
Right.
But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be like the cool guy. I'm not going front. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to be like the good CEO. Everybody like, yo, what's up type. And for a while, that was good. That's what it turned into. So for some, like, I don't know why, but in Georgia, I would like attract myself more to like the black guys. Cause I felt like they were more like on my level of thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like they were street kids, so I was a street kid.
Well,
so
most of the white guys are kind of country, right? Like they're more...
Majority of them were, and there was like a select few that was like from the city, like from Atlanta or Savannah or something. So one day I'm standing there, I think I was standing at the gate waiting for like to run chow. And this white kid comes up to me and he's like, yo, can I ask you a question? He didn't say yo, but that's how I talk. He was like, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, what's up? He was like, why you always hanging with the black dudes? And I looked at him, I was like, what you mean? He was like, you always with the black dudes. You don't hang with your own people. And I'm like, I was like, there was probably like 3 Mexicans in the whole building.
Right.
So I'm like, I just hang with whoever, like I talk to whoever talks to me. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, nah. He was like, you know what? He was like, you ain't nothing but a whoop whoop lover.
Right. Okay.
And I was like, what? So this is how I did things. Okay? I would approach it like a street situation. You disrespected me. So now I'm gonna disrespect you. And even though at the time, I'm not gonna front, at the time, I didn't really think that my authority over them was what made them not want to fight with me. You know what I'm saying? Because if I hit you, I'm gonna catch a charge or something like that. I wasn't thinking like that. I really wasn't. I'm like, we're gonna fight, and then whoever wins, wins. We're gonna walk away. That's really how I thought about it. So when I took them, what I would do is, you get to talking crazy, first thing I tell them, hit the fence. So you got to put your hands on the fence. I do the fake pat down to make it look legit.
Mm-hmm.
Put the handcuffs on you. Then I'll take you to the hole. I'll take you to lockdown. When I get you in the lockdown, this is how I was with people. I would get them in lockdown. The first guy I ever playing, it was probably my whole time doing that, it was probably like 4 or 5 people that ever actually happened with. I wasn't just going around doing it for fun.
Right.
But anyways, the first guy, he said that, so I was like, okay. Took him to the hole. I was like, yo, listen, when I take these handcuffs off of you, turn around and start swinging. And he'll just sit, they're just standing there like, what? I'm like, turn around and start swinging, because I'm going to swing at you. It's going to be me and you. You ain't with your friends. I don't got a bunch of COs with me. It's just me and you. Whatever happens here, this is where it happens. This is where we leave it.
And there's no cameras?
No, not once you go into the shower area, there's no cameras in the shower.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then in Georgia at that time, there was probably 1 camera in the whole dorm that would just see like how it was at Rogers. When you walk into the dorm, it's a room right here in the middle. Like they called it the day room. Mm-hmm. And then it was split hallways. There was no cameras facing down them hallways. And down them hallways would be 2 bedrooms. Like a room on this side, a room on that side with like 16 people in each room, down the hallways. So once you get into the shower area, there's no cameras facing the showers. Unless it's a search situation, you gotta have a camera.
Right.
So I would just be like, turn around and start swinging. 9 times out of 10, when I took the cuffs off and they spun around, they wouldn't swing. But I still, at the time, I'm in my early 20s, I feel disrespected.
Right.
So I'm gonna disrespect you now. And then hopefully we could get an understanding out of that. Again, not thinking like, damn, I'm really abusing people because they scared to hit me anyway because they're gonna, they might catch a charge.
Right.
I didn't look at it like that. I wouldn't have told on them. That wasn't my thing. So, anyways, I did that 1 or 2 times. Another guy, screaming shit out in the crowd when I'm running child, and he had the balls to say it was him. So after a while of me doing that, I kind of felt like, because then the lawsuit came out against the whole prison. The warden was on there, a bunch of captains, sergeants, lieutenants. Bunch of officers were on the shirt.
Completely free. And again, live stream. You just click the link, you'll jump on with us live. We'll build your store before you even get off of the live stream with us. We're doing this all day today, by the way. Don't know if we'll be doing it tomorrow, so click the link and make sure you join us. But we're not just building your store. We're also putting 20 of the top trending products on your store so that you start off with something and you don't have the first question of like, oh my gosh, what do I sell? Of course, you can add whatever you want to your store, but we're going to start you off with 20 of the top trending products that we know are selling right now, okay? And then also, just so we're clear, we're not going to sell you a course, all right? I know everybody's going to sell you a course, blah, blah, blah. We're not. The reason we're not is, like I said, we are some of Shopify's top affiliate partners in the world, and they pay us a commission every time we send them somebody to get a Shopify account. So we actually really don't have to charge you anything to build you a store, and we don't want to sell you a course. We want to give it to you, because Shopify actually won't pay us unless you keep your store for 90 days. At least at the time I'm filming this, it's 90 days. That's wild, right? And so we have to teach you and train you and educate you and make sure, check out Monaco. I'm in Monaco. This is, you see Monaco behind me? We have to make sure you know what you're doing, or else obviously you're not going to keep your store for the full 90 days. So it doesn't do us any good to, do anything, trying to sell you a course or anything. We're just going to give you everything that you need. So What you need to do is click the link that you see right below. Join us on this live stream. It's happening today. We will build your store before we even get off of this thing, right? It's phenomenal. It's amazing. Nobody else is doing this. And you can see for yourself that we're telling you the truth, because when you click the link, we'll literally get started building your Shopify store. So click the link below. We'll build your store for free. We'll see you on the live stream.
Lawsuit. In this one big lawsuit were many like side lawsuits. You know what I'm saying? And with me doing that, the last guy that I got into it with, he was like saying some racist shit to me when I was running child. So I pulled him out, hit him with the same talk. Hit the fence, fake pat down, put the cuffs on him, taking him to the hole. And as I'm walking to the hole, my lieutenant's coming by me. He said, "What's up, Rodriguez?" I was like, "I'm gonna just go down here and talk to him." And they knew, because everything we did was covered up.
Right.
So they knew what I meant by saying I'm gonna go talk to him. So I took him to the hole, same situation. Like, yo, when I take these cuffs off, spin around and start swinging. When I took the cuffs off, he didn't swing. He spun around and dropped to the floor. But I'm already mad now. I'm already in that zone. So when he dropped, I just started kneeing him like in the shoulder area, kneeing him in the shoulder and shit, like punching him in the back of the head. And I just, after, a few little scuffle up, it wasn't nothing crazy. I got up, I let him walk back to his dorm. And he filed the lawsuit.
Right.
He added me to that lawsuit.
Right. He added that situation.
Yeah, to that lawsuit that everybody else already filed against the whole prison. So then when he did that, the other 3 or 4 guys that I got into it with did the same thing. So now my one lawsuit in that big lawsuit turned to like 4 or 5. Nothing came of it.
Right.
Nobody got fired. None of them got money for it because it was all swept under the rug.
Did you ever get questioned?
Yeah. So what happens is when you get in a situation, you get your statement, you write your little incident report, you turn in your incident report. All right. They go over it. If the inmate pursues it, like he wants to, they say they press charges or they want to file a lawsuit, then they get sent up to IA. So when the IA guys come down from outside, this is exactly what they do in my case. And in everybody's case, basically. Every correctional officer that I know, this is what they did for us. They would come in and be like, "Do you remember what you said in your statement?" And you're either 9 times out of 10 going to say, "Hell no, I don't remember what I wrote in that shit." So they'd be like, "Here's your statement, read it." And you read the statement, you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I remember." Then they're like, "All right, when I turn the camera on, say what is in your statement," and that's it.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So boom, hit the camera. They do the little, "Oh, we're here today, such and such, whatever. Situation happened with such and such, such and such. What happened?" And I just repeated my statement. "Is that all you want to say?" "That's all that happened." "All right, click. Yo, good job, man. Go back to work."
No, it's your word against the inmate's word.
Exactly.
Or their word against yours, more like.
And 9 times out of 10, in that situation, who's going to come out on top?
Right.
Unless you have actual footage, then you can't, you're not going to win. And that's how the whole system was in Georgia. I'm sure it's like that everywhere else, but that's how the whole system was. That's what we used to do. I've seen dudes like jump on somebody and I would just walk away like, "Yo, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting involved in that one."
Right.
Because like I said, it's one thing when it's one-on-one. I could take a beating. I could take an ass whooping. It's one thing when it's one-on-one. But when you got 5 guys on one guy, I'm not gonna be a part of that. So I push off. But I created that type of reputation with the inmates. Like they know, and I would tell them, like, even after the fact, I'd be like, "Yo, it was nothing personal. I don't not like you. I don't not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see how I am around here. I kick shit with everybody. I bullshit with everybody. But when you disrespect me, then it turns into what it is, disrespect. If you was on the street and somebody disrespect you just gonna eat it and walk off? You being the guy you say you are? No, you're not gonna. You're gonna address it.
I'm shocked. Like all the guys that I know that have gone to like Florida State Prison, which I've known a bunch of guys who have just tons of stories about Florida State Prison, is that like they're afraid to even look at the guards, like because they know they'll get their ass beat. Because in the federal prison, like it's just almost not. I hate to say it just doesn't happen because I'm sure there are places it does happen, but for the most part, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
you know. But in most of the state prison stories that I've heard, and certainly in Florida, the guys that have gone to Florida have been like, "Oh, you don't even fucking look at these motherfuckers. Like you don't. They'll snap you up and yank you out, and the two guards will walk around the corner and just beat the shit. And they go like, nobody sees nothing. He's like, the inmates don't see anything. The fucking assistant warden doesn't see. Like, nobody says he's got some bruises, and the inmate's too scared to testify because it could get even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know retaliation is gonna happen regardless if they say it is or they not. Oh no, nothing's gonna happen to you. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Once you go back in that prison, there's nobody that can save you from that.
Right.
It's gonna happen. Like I work with a couple of guys now here in Florida, and they tell me the same thing. Like, yo, they got this one prison. I forgot the name of it here in Florida. They got a jar full of gold teeth.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot, we just had that guy. We just had a guy on that went there, and he's like, "That's true, bro. That they got that
they
jar.
was
I
just
forget the
telling
name
me.
of it."
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He was like, "Yeah. As soon as you walk in, they got a jar full of gold teeth." I was like, "Damn."
That they've knocked out a fucking inmate's head.
Yeah, that shit. It wasn't that serious in Georgia. I mean, it was serious. Nowadays, I don't think that goes down too much like that, because from what I see on TikTok and YouTube videos and all that on the prisons in Georgia now, I'm like, man, I'm glad I got out of there when I did. But you know, so that all happened, that all transpired. So, anyways, I'm coming up for promotion. I'm coming up to be a sergeant.
How long you been there?
I was there about a year and a half. I'm coming up to be a sergeant based off my reputation.
Right.
So it was at another prison though. The prison was literally across the street. It was called Georgia State Prison. You could literally see it from the prison I was at. And Georgia State is a maximum security, level 5, close inmates. So I was on the tactical squad, and my boy was like, yo, you should come over here and become a sergeant with me. He was a sergeant. He was like, come over here, become a sergeant with me. We was on the tac squad together. So I was like, all right, fuck it, more money. So I go over there. I go to the board. It's a lieutenant, major, a couple of guys. They ask you a couple of correctional officer questions. Nothing too crazy. Count situations, all of that. So I'm like, all right. I was like, yeah, let's jump on it. So I did the board, aced it, and then they hired me. They promoted me to sergeant. And I went over there. So when I get over there, at first, I'm not gonna front. I was like, okay, this is a different breed. This is real, like, guys who don't give a shit, which is cool. It is what it is. But the funny thing about it, when I got to the level 5, like I said, these are different type of dudes, and they are. They didn't act like the dudes in the minimum medium.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate in over 65 languages with Gemini and Google Workspace. Translate all your meetings and messages in real time with AI in Google Meet and Chat. Understand each other instantly with Google Workspace.
What if you could make a song using only your voice? Let's start with the drums. I'm gonna hit drums and click cover. Yes. This is good. Okay, perfect. I feel like the song needs a rhythm guitar. Dun, 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 dun. Changing it to guitar. I'm gonna type in rhythm guitar. Okay, I like this track. I'm gonna copy it to the main. All right, now we're adding some bass. Bum 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 bum. Okay, let's click on bass, and I'm gonna just click cover. Yes, I like this. Okay, good. All right, adding a synth for the chorus. Pulsing ambient synth. Ooh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna copy the synth to the main track. Let's add a shaker. I'm going to click on percussion, and here I'm just typing in shaker and clicking cover. Let's add it to the main track. Now let's put it all together, and I'm gonna sing.
Absolutely unexpected. Maybe that's the best part. Yeah, I know that we connected, not just music, but all our hearts. I know based on my track record, I tend to pick the worst. I know I deserve a good guy. Maybe you could be the first. I know we all grow from our past mistakes, 'cause now you're a risk that I'm willing to take. You're making the hours fly by. You're making me smile so wide. Now I've never felt more like myself than when you charm me with your spell. What if I don't have to hide? What if it was you all this time? And every lonely melody I kept was waiting for your voice in my duet. I'll admit it's pretty scary.
Medium. They weren't disrespectful. They didn't run their mouth crazy or talk crazy. You know, unless you came at them a certain type of way, then they didn't care neither. You know what I'm saying? Because I've got in a fight in there a couple times. So the first time I got into a situation, I was a sergeant. I'm coming in. I'm doing my rounds, and I don't know how other prisons are. Like I said, when you go into the dorm, they got clipboards with sheets on next to their cell with their picture, and you got to sign off on the sheet basically saying you came through as a sergeant and did your check. So I got to sign every single paper in front of every door. So I walk in the dorm, and there was like 2 flaps open because the female officer was handing out ice. So as I'm walking through, you handing out ice, I'm not thinking nothing when I see a guy's cup on the flap. I'm thinking, okay, that's a cup full of ice, because she was past his cell.
Yeah.
She didn't say nothing to me. She said he handing out the ice. So I'm signing the sheets. I get down close to his door, and I see his head peek out. And when I see his head peek out, I look, and I step back a little bit, but it was too late. I was close enough. He grabbed his cup, and he threw the shit on me. And it was piss.
Oh, okay.
It hit me right in my face, straight down all the front of me. I got mad as hell.
So it's not you. It's just he's just a mental case.
Yeah, I guess, and I'll tell you why he did what he did after. It made no sense. So he did that. So I go upstairs to the central station. I take my shirt off, wash my face, and I was like, yo, it was in the evening. It was like probably like 10 o'clock at night. So there's no reason for me to call to open the cell at 10 o'clock at night. Because if I do that, my supervisor's going to call me, what's going on down there? Why are you opening up a cell? You know? So I look at the officer. I'm like, yo, when I go back down there, I'm just going to wave at you. Open cell 13. She was like, you sure? I said, yeah, open cell 13. She was like, all right. Because now I'm going in there. We're going to fight.
Right.
I don't care. We're going to fight. And whatever happens, happens. So I'll go back down. The officer, when I walk in, the officer's standing there. I say, yo, go out the back door. So she walks out the back door. As she's walking out the back door, one of the cert dudes are coming in just on some random shit. He just happened to walk in. He comes down the stairs. He's like, Sarge, what's going on? I was like, yo, this dude threw piss on me. I'm going in that room. We gonna fight. So he looks at me. He was like, all right, let's do it. I was like, no. Let me get in there. And I want to fight with him. And I was telling the guy, I said, I'm coming in there. We gonna fight. He was like, come on in. He backed up to the back of the cell. He was like, come on in. I was like, I'm coming in. So the cert dude stood at the door. I said, don't come in. So I look at her. I wave. She opens the cell. I run up in there. Me and this, yo. I was like, I'm going to get my ass whooped. Like, this is the one. He's going to beat the shit out of me. Because we're trading blows face to face.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. And everyone, like, I connect, he connect. But when he connect, I felt it, like, through my body. Like, it was like when he hit me, I vibrated. I was like, oh, shit, I don't know how long I could do this.
All right.
But we trading blows. And what's going to happen when I'm knocked out? I don't know. You know, I don't want to be knocked out. He starts stomping me. Then the dude comes in and grabs him.
Yeah.
So I just scooped down and grabbed him, picked him up, and slammed him on the bunk. When I slammed him on the bunk, he just stopped. So I put his hands behind his back, cuffed him, because I had to take him to medical because of the situation.
Right.
So I cuff him up. Me and the cert dude taking him to medical. As we walk in, I look at him. I was like, yo, can I ask you a question? He was like, yeah, what's up? I was like, why the hell did you throw piss on me? I don't know you. I never had a run-in with you. He was like, you was the first one to come in the door.
Masking used to take forever. Until now. It even tracks the objects.
You throw piss on me. I don't know you. I never had a run-in with you. He was like, you was the first one to come in the door. I'm like, what? And that was the reason. There was no other reason. So he took him to medical, nothing was wrong. We had a few blows. It wasn't nothing crazy. He wasn't swolled up or nothing like that. So they were just like, oh, he's good. Brought him back to the dorm. And I was like, man, I said, yo, bro, next time, warn me. When I come in here, just be like, yo, Sarge, you better get out of here so I know not to walk to your cell and get pissed on me again. So that was one situation that happened. Another situation that happened when I was a correction officer, I'm running showers. And I'm in Georgia, they call it SMU. They don't call it the SHU.
Right.
They call it SMU, Special Management Housing. And that's where they keep the worst of the worst. Like these two buildings in Georgia State Prison, they were called L&M building. They look like straight dungeons. Like you could literally stretch your arms like this, and that's wall to wall. Mm-hmm. The bed was right there, the sink was right at the head of the bed, and the toilet was right next to it. You had no room at all in them cells. They were so small. So one side was all locked down, solid doors, chains on the door. Literally chains with locks from the door to the base of the wall. The other side was cell house, was like, bars. So I'm in the cell house, I'm running showers. As I'm running showers and haircuts at the same time because I'm trying to get it all done in one shot. So one dude was like, yo, take me for a haircut, I'm like, all right, chill. You see I'm running showers and haircuts. I got you. As soon as I get a chance to get to you, I got you. He didn't want to hear that. He kept getting frustrated because I kept walking past. But how I used to do it was I'm going all the way to the back of the cell, to the cell block. And I'm running showers from the back all the way to the front. Because the showers are next to the front. So I feel like I'm going to get the back first. So then by the time I get to the front, it'll be easy money. Pull you out, boom, put you in the shower. I'm walking past his cell with a guy. I got him cuffed. I'm walking past. He whips an orange at me. And the orange literally just flew right past my face. The dude in front of me, the inmate, he like leaned forward. He was like, damn, Sarge, you're going to get me hit. I was like, my bad. So I'm coming back and I'm like, yo, you better not throw nothing, bro. And when I go to walk past, he whips another orange at me. So I'm like, all right. I go out, go to my boy in the other building. I was like, yo, go over there and grab cell such and such. Bring him to the barbershop. He was like, why you won't do it? I was like, he ain't gonna come out for me now because he threw something at me. So he knows, if I come out for you, you're gonna put hands on me. I was like, he ain't gonna come out for me. So just go grab him for me and bring him. So he was like, all right. He goes and gets him. He brings him. I'm standing in the barbershop. And in that unit, when you walk into the barbershop, it's like a cell. It's got the bars on it. Like you go in there and we lock you in.
Right.
And then you get your hair cut and then we pull you out. So he comes, as soon as he turns the corner, he's handcuffed. As soon as he turns the corner, he just sees me standing there behind the barber chair. And he was like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah, you know what it is, right? He was like, Sarge, wait. Nah, bruh. I was like, yo, my man was with me. But like I told him, don't jump in unless he starts whooping my ass. Then get him off of me. That was my thing.
Right.
Like if he starts beating the shit out of me, grab him and get him off of me, man. So I don't get too beat up. But I'm like, that was my thing. Like, we're gonna fight and whatever. It doesn't matter. So my boy takes the handcuffs off and he closes the door. And when he does, I'm behind the chair. So I just reached over the chair, grabbed him, and pulled him into the chair. When I pulled him into the chair, he literally stomach first. So he's like all fucked up sitting in the chair with his stomach instead of his back. So I had him by the shirt and I just started rocking him, hitting him in his face. Started switching hands. I beat him. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I beat the shit out that kid. So after I got done, like I said, my adrenaline's rushing. I'm still in my 20s. Mm-hmm. I'm like 24, 25 at the time now.
Right.
This was like right before I caught my case. So I'm rocking him. Go to take him to the hospital floor. I'm mad as hell. I'm pissed off. My adrenaline's running. I'm all on fumes. I'm like, man, I'm hot. So I'm not even paying attention to the guy. I'm just like, he's crying and I'm just walking him to the medical floor. Like, I don't want to hear shit. I don't care. He shouldn't have threw shit at me. I had that attitude. Get him to the hospital floor. As soon as I walk in, again, I'm not even paying attention to this guy. As soon as I walk in, the nurse leans back and she's like, God damn.
Your online store is getting traffic, but no sales. Or you're struggling to optimize conversion rates. Boost AI search and discovery with the features of search.
Damn, what the fuck happened to him? And that's when I like looked at him. I was like, oh shit. This dude's face was so swollen. His eyes was almost closed. And from him crying, he had puddles of tears sitting on his cheeks. They wouldn't roll down because he was that swollen. I was like, God damn. I was like, ain't no way I could explain this one, man. For real. But I genuinely, after I seen that, I genuinely felt so bad because I lost it. Like I didn't have control of myself when I did that. So when I'm walking him back, like, there was nothing broken in his face, thank God. He was just a person that if you know how you tap somebody, they welt up easy. He was that type of person. He just welted up easy and got swollen easy.
My wife's like that. Every time
Yeah. You might not want to say that
like
on
a
here.
blowfish.
No, but he was one of them that just swelled up fast, welted up easy. So I'm walking him back and I looked at him. I said, man, I'm sorry, man. He was just like, it's all right, it's all right. I was like, nah, it ain't all right. I was like, I lost control. And I apologize. I was like, if you wanna file an incident report, you wanna file a report, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna file one. I'm not gonna say that I didn't hit you if you file a report on me. I'm not gonna say I didn't hit you. And he was like, no, it's all good, it's all good. I know how this shit works. Again, right. I know how this shit works. Y'all are gonna stick together, you're gonna sweep it under the table. And I genuinely felt bad, but I was just like, what can I do? I told you to do it. You don't wanna do it. I get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I get it. I get their mentality. So I was like, all right, whatever. That incident, it was times where like some of the inmates, like I said, I used to try to be cool with everybody. I'm in my early 20s. I'm still a kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just starting to learn how to conduct myself as a respectable person. So they would come to me because they seen how I acted, how I talked, how I kicked it with them. Some of the inmates would come to me and be like, yo, Sarge, can you ask that dude if I could get him a head up with him? One of the guards. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh yeah? We're like,
yeah. Can get what?
A head up. One-on-one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's go in the room so I can get on one-on-one.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought it was at all. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're thinking, but
I just talk to him, like I have a conversation
a head up
with him.
Where,
oh, okay.
Where I come, you say, yo, let me get a head up. That means let me get a one-on-one. So I go to the officer. I'm like, yo, what's his name? He wants a one with you. What's up? You down? And they'd be like, hell yeah, I'll give him that. And we go put him in the little room, lock him in the room, and let him fight. And that's what would happen.
Like a fight club.
Yeah, but it didn't get to like that. Like when we were like, yo, it's not first blood or nothing. Obviously, sometimes you get hit, you're gonna bleed. But we're like, we're not trying to kill each other. Just get an understanding is what we called it. And it was a lot of times it was the inmate's idea.
Right.
Like if you mad at an officer and he won't give you that, and then you come to me and ask me if it's okay to do it, and I go to the officer and be like, do you want to? If you don't, it's cool.
Right.
But if you wanna put hands in and see what happens, let's do it. And sometimes the officer be like, hell yeah, I'll do it. I had this new guy come in. He was an ex-Marine. He was crazy. White guy, glasses. He looked square as hell, but he was serious. And he was running showers one day. Somebody threw something on him. So he comes up to me. He's like, can I go in there, please? And I'm like, what? He's like, just open the cell. Let me go in there. He's like, I'm going to whoop his ass. He threw something on me. And I'm like, you sure? He was like, yeah. I was like, so you know how we do this, right? He was like, yeah, I ain't saying shit. I was like, but if you heard him, we got to take him to medical and you have to write a statement on what happened. Now, if I get him to agree to this, head up situation, this is how it's got to go down. You know what I mean? Don't go in there try and kill the kid, like,
right.
Or vice versa. Like, I'll tell the inmate, like, don't try to kill him. Just get an understanding. Get, like a brother, me and my brother fighting. We're going to fight, but we ain't going to fight to kill each other. We're just going to fight to get an understanding. And that's what I did. So, oh my God. I had to run in there and grab the Marine off of him because he went crazy. Like, I think he had a flashback or something because he was starting to whoop his, and there's no room. The Marine was big as hell, cock diesel. He ran up in there and they just started fighting. And I had to grab him because he just wouldn't stop. He just kept hitting him. I was like, oh shit. Ran in there and grabbed him, pulled him out. But it was shit like that we used to do at Georgia State Prison. Now, again, there's inmates in there that they didn't play either. It's not like we was just like they just had their way. You didn't have your way. And it wasn't all the time that they would agree to giving you a head-up fight. You know what I'm saying? So, I seen all that extra shit with certain teams running in on people. We had a shock shield in Georgia State Prison. We got the electricity running through the shield. And they hit you with the electricity, pick you up off the floor, slam you on the ground, and they just keep pressing the electricity. The whole time screaming, stop resisting.
Right.
How the hell am I resisting? You hit me with electricity.
Right.
But yeah, situations like that. Stop resisting, stop resisting. And you're like, damn, he's not resisting. Because as a supervisor, like as the sergeant, all I had to do was hold the camera.
Right.
While the cert runs in there. So I'm holding the camera, naturally when it gets too over with it, I drop the camera, the camera falls, situations like that. What happened? It was getting too crazy. I had to drop the camera to run in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Shit like that. But it was all cover up shit. Everybody told everybody what to say, how to write it. When you go to IA would tell you what to say, how to say it.
Right.
Don't say this, just say what you said here, boom, leave it at that. And I was just like, damn. But again, I'm in my early 20s. I don't know no better. I'm just like.
Instead of spending hours creating metadata for a photo of this truck to put in a catalog or use in a store online,
all cartels are scary, but they're scary because you just didn't know what the next minute was going to bring. You are sitting across from a guy that will wipe you out, your whole family, your dog, your goldfish, everything. And tomorrow it's business as usual. Killers never feel bad about what they do. I pulled in the driveway and moving vans, boom, right behind me. I knew right then, it's over.
This man is Ronnie Harrell. Ronnie has spent almost his entire life in prison, starting at California Youth Authority, graduating to maximum security state prisons, and eventually the most brutal federal penitentiaries in the country. Ronnie is a lifer. He's seen it all. From running with the Aryan Brotherhood to shot calling for the Nazi lowriders, Ronnie was a general in a war that lasted for 30 years inside of the most savage prisons in America. But he changed. He sobered up, started reading, and by the time he paroled, he had developed an educational booklet sanctioned by the California Department of Corrections for other inmates to use as part of their parole board hearings. Ronnie's educational system has helped hundreds of inmates get out early, and now you can help too by donating to his charity, STAR, speaking truth about recidivism, by visiting star2023.org. This is the first time Ronnie is telling his story on camera. And for a bonus episode with him, head over to patreon.com/theconnectshow. A true OG, a veterano, I present to you Ronnie Harrell right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell.
It's lonely at the top. There's only one number one, and there's only one way somebody gets your number one chair. You're going to keep a knife in the feds, or you're not going to last long. You're numb to the violence. If I send one guy and he can't do it, I'll send 3. If I send 3 and they can't do it, I'll send 5. You can't win.
That's when I see the lights behind me start to flash. And I didn't even think, I just hit it. I was driving like my life depended on it. Then I parked the car, hopped out, closed the door, and I started running.
And he pulls out a burner, a shank, it's like 6 inches. Then he passes it to me, and he goes, here, that's yours. Don't ever leave the cell block without this. He was the reason I made it out of that place alive.
Do you like being in Idaho?
It's, well, we're waiting on, my mother-in-law dies. She leaves this $1 million house to us. We're going to sell it. We're going to move. And to me, I'd like to be in a spot to where if you can see your neighbor, you're too close.
Oh, you want to be even more? Well, what a better place than Idaho for that.
Yeah, and I think the guy's just too old to work it. It's not too expensive, and it's got this ton of wood with it that's really, really, I mean, he cuts them into tables, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're just bright reds and just perfect. And so I'm looking at trying to get it. And what I'm going to do is I got Oakland Joe. He's sitting in Vegas right now. Well, not in Vegas, but in Nevada. I got Johnny Vaughn, ex-brand out here in Victorville. I just dropped him off. I got these cats that I'm going to put down there and tell them, hey, man, go to work. But here's the thing. You're a long ways from dope. So I want you to clean up.
What part of Oregon is it?
It's in, it's just an hour and a half from my house in Idaho. So it's right there in Southern Oregon.
Oh, so you're like Southeast Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're remote.
Yes.
I'm from Oregon. I've never even been to that part of the state.
Right.
You know, because it's it's almost like, it's kind of not Oregon in a way. It's like this no man's land.
a lot of European kindred there. That's their spot.
I ran into a lot of those cats while I was locked up.
Yeah.
I was like, what's EK? I was so cute, wasn't I? I was like, excuse me, sir, what is that EK tatted on your ankle? And they'd be like, Jesus, this tourist. Because I was a tourist in the system. And being around guys like you was fascinating. It was because you could have been my uncle. Like I really loved and felt like this kinship with these OGs, these lifers. And so that's kind of why it's a treat to have you here, because it actually brings me back to some of the fonder times that I was in prison, because guys like you were so inspiring to me, because they told me, hey, go follow your dreams. Like you got potential. They really like believed in what I wanted to do when I got out, which was to move to Hollywood and get into show business. And
okay, so there was a cat, a friend of mine. He lived right out here. So when he lived in LA, his name's Paul Kelly. He hung with Eddie Nash and all them. And Paul Kelly was, he's probably dead now, but the Laurel Canyon Massacre. They took him. They when they found Eddie Nash not guilty the first time, they said the books aren't closed on Paul Kelly, because everybody was saying Paul Kelly, Paul Kelly, Paul Kelly. But anyway, so he was a good friend of mine out here, and I'd done some things with him, running guns and doing all of that. And he was the one I looked up to, you know. And Paul Kelly was like this. There was no scam too small. If he could net 10 cents a week for 30 years, we're doing that scam.
Yeah.
That was him. And he'd have so many of these little nickel and dime scams going on that he was killing it.
Yeah.
And all under the radar. Nobody cared.
Right.
They learned about this scam, but what are they taking? Come on. You know?
Yeah.
And I was a kid, and he said, kid, you want to come with me? We have this thing on some Tiffany lamps. I didn't know what Tiffany lamps were. I told him, Paul, come on. That's what you're going to feed me, lamps. You know, I'm doing everything for you. Now you're going to offer it. He goes, look, it's score of the lifetime. I said, yeah, all you old cats, you're doing this Tiffany. Yeah, I said, I'm good. And then later on in life, I learned what Tiffany lamps were.
Are they what are they? I don't even know.
They're very, very expensive lamps. You know, very high, elegant, and it was an inside job, and they were all going to make millions. And I could have been set real good on the deal, but I just was dumb, stupid.
So you're from.
Turn complex information into actionable insights with Notebook LM.
I could have been set real good on the deal, but I just was dumb, stupid.
So you're from Lakewood, which is basically Orange County. It's right on the border of Orange County, LA.
Yeah.
But there does seem to be a lot of gangbanging down in Orange County.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in that culture, or who brought you? What was childhood like?
I grew up in that. I was in foster homes doing all that. I eventually made it back to my dad, but by then he felt so guilty about what happened that I was controlling things through the manipulation. Right?
What happened?
His guilt.
What happened to you?
Well, me going to foster homes while he was in the Army, my mom acting a fool, and it just screwed up. Once you start thinking wrong, the way you think is all based on that wrong thinking. It's corrupt thinking. And once you start learning that you can manipulate somebody because they did something to you and feel bad about it, you control that person.
So they didn't have any parenting. They were just felt guilt.
No.
And bending to your will.
And they were and that's what I would do with anybody and everybody. I rebelled in the foster home. So my cousins used to jump on me. I went to live with my dad, started running the streets, went back and whooped my cousins. A whole lot of different stuff. I didn't forget what people did to me, you know, as growing up and whatnot. But eventually it all leads to YA, Nazi lowriders, the whole gang trip. And it's a process that you never see coming. It comes at you like this, and you don't know that life itself is brainwashing you. By the time you hit prison, if you've been through YA and that whole living thing, by the time you hit the penitentiaries and the real brainwashers and manipulators get a hold of you, you're prime. You're prime for their get down, and they look and spot cats like that.
It's like the military in a way.
It's like the military. They're going to train, but they're training you to get down in a different way.
So you went to youth authority. That's what YA is in California.
CYA, yep.
You were how old?
Oh man, what was I? Probably 14.
What'd you go down for?
That time I went down for, as ironic as it is, disobeying a court order. They ordered me into a program, and I accepted to get out from whatever it was. So they dismissed the case that I had. I went in the front door of the program, out the back door, not to be seen again until they apprehended me. And then the judge, well, I can't reinitiate this case. I made the mistake of dismissing it. But what I'm going to do is you disobeyed my order, so I'm going to give you this 2 years for that. So I went in for that. And then somewhere in the middle of all that, I went in the military. And come back, and it was already in the mix with the Nazi lowriders when I went in the military.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up getting honorably discharged from the military early. When that happens, I'm out, and the military, I got strung out real bad.
What are we talking?
On drugs.
Dope?
Heroin, meth, anything that would come through, taking pills, Lily F40s, the whole 9 yards, right? The old Reds, sick and all. So I got strung out. So when I came out of the military, discharged, I needed to feed that habit. And I knew just how to do it with a gun and directions to whatever connection was in the area. And that was my lick right then. I just started hitting connections. And then I discovered that connections will tell on you just as quick as anybody else. But I justified it. This is our game. This is our laws. This is what we're doing. You know what I mean? So it's not society's rules we're playing by. I don't have to play by their rules because I'm not playing in their area. I'm playing with everybody that grew up like I did, drug dealers, all that. We have our own set of rules. So as long as I'm not stealing the purse down the street, robbing the house of the guy that works for a living, and I'm in the game and I'm just taking from the game, then I justified it.
Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. And get this, Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Wow. Do you think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? How about Lamar Jackson passing for more than 1.5 touchdowns? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just 5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. How can you not get in on the fun? I'm such a fan of Prize Picks. I've been going in and making my lineups since they started sponsoring this show a couple months back. This time of year is so much fun to get in on the action of both the NFL and NBA seasons at the same time. It's so exciting. I'm still deep in the NFL while I suss out my early NBA games. This week, for example, I've got Jamar Chase for more than 79.5 receiving yards and Patrick Mahomes for more than 1.5 passing TDs. Download the app today and use code CONNECT to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, that's code CONNECT to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup when you download the Prize Picks app. Prize Picks, run your game. So you're hitting dope scores.
Yeah.
You're robbing drug dealers.
Yeah, constantly. And then they tell on me.
Yeah.
You know,
that's nothing new. I met a lot of guys locked up for robbery, and I'm like, wait, you can, drug dealers can call the cops?
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20 handpicked products that are trending all over the world, basically validated by AI from a trending product database from one of the top vendors on the planet. And the reason that we can do this completely free for you is because, well, Shopify is paying me to do it. You've probably seen me before because for the last year, Shopify has loved the AI-paired software that we built so much that they've been paying me to build people just like you, complete beginners, a completely free store. Now,
guys locked up for robbery, and I'm like, wait, you can, drug dealers can call the cops?
They will. Yeah, they got it on speed dial.
Yeah.
Quicker than anybody else, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that all goes down. I end up in the joint.
For a robbery.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't just go to any joint. They send me to Soledad. I touch down there, and a black cop's giving me grief, right?
I'm sorry, how much time was your first stretch?
Okay, so they give me 4 years.
All right.
But like I said, it doesn't turn out that way. You end up doing a lot more. I lost a few years because the cop was giving me grief in Soledad there in Central, and I'm a young kid fresh out of YA, and so I bounced it off my celly. So we stabbed this guy. Isn't this what we do? And he's like, nobody likes this cop. He's like, that's exactly what we do. So they got me the knife, and I went at him in the hallway. Wow. Even the white cops there didn't like him. His name was Garnett, Officer Garnett. Black cop, anti-white. Everybody was racist back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what you were. It's how you did time. You didn't fall into that. You didn't walk no main line. So 2 white cops jumped in when I was getting beat down by the cops and pulled me out. They said, we got him. Cuffed me up. Took me to Old Wing. Put me in there and said, that's it. If they come for you in here, we're not here. We don't work in here. But that dude. Right? Wow. I'm like, all right. Now I'm in Old Wing as a kid. I still don't know how all of this prison stuff goes, but I'm going to figure it out. You can believe that. And I'm sitting in Old Wing, and the black dudes in the cell next to me stay up late at night, but they don't just stay up. They bang on the bed and they do rap.
Just like on the streets.
Yeah, I'm getting mad. I mean, I am pissed. So I send the kite down. I don't know how to make a bomb. I ask, how do you make a bomb? I get the kite back. Boom. Okay, so it gives me the instructions how to make this bomb. Back then, you could get matches. They give you matches. You're scraping the sulfur off, chest pieces, stuff it full of everything. First, you make the wick out of zigzag, wet it, put the sulfur on it, roll it up. Now I got a little wick, sticking it in the end of the chest piece, out the hole, pack it full of all this sulfur. And then your Levi's, your pants had zippers on them back then. You burn them, get all the metal, break up razor blades, pack it in there at the end. So I got this thing. It looks good, man. I'm loving it. I'm like, oh, yeah, look at this bomb. As soon as they done banging and they lay down, I'm going to bomb them. I put it over on the bars. I reach around. I light it. And the bomb goes off. Boom, all the windows shake inside the unit and all of that. And what the bomb did, the sulfur did, was it turned the metal red hot. And all that red hot metal, like a projectile, landed on the floor. The noise woke the dudes up. They jumped up, and all I did was give them a hot foot.
What's a hot foot?
There's a red hot things. They were dancing in the cell.
Right.
The cops came and got them and moved them because they knew that it was just going to be progressive. First experience with a bomb. Wow. They got bigger, better, and more deadly after that. But
making bombs, was that common in California state prisons back then?
Oh yeah, yeah.
With the thing, remember, I just know this from literally not Blood and Blood Out, American Me. They walk by somebody's cell and they light them on fire.
Yeah, that's a thing too. I mean, you can get, because you mow yards, you do this and that. You may get a little bit of gas each time. You can get that. A thing people were doing in San Quentin on the shoe yard was they would come out and they would have like baby oil, they would have hair gel, they would have all this stuff mixed up, and they put a stinger in it and get it bubbling. So it was almost like a napalm, and then they would throw it in the dude's face and stab him.
Okay, so you're on O Block for stabbing a cop.
Right.
There were no cameras back then.
No.
So you didn't even get arrested for this.
No, I did. I got charged with it. I got charged with it, but I beat the case. They screwed up on the paperwork. The cop lied. I beat the case. I didn't really beat it. I took 2 years. Okay, but it got reduced, and I took 2 years for assault on a peace officer. So I had 6 now.
Okay.
Then they send me to Folsom, and when I get off the bus in Folsom, right? Folsom was a weird thing back then, old Folsom. Like, they had Jericho's Mile, which was the yard, and it's a big deal. They had this track around the yard for filming Jericho's Mile. So when the yard opened every morning, everybody'd step on the yard and step off, just the thing. And they bring you in there, and they will bring you into the lieutenant's office back then, and the first thing the lieutenant would say, 2 questions. You got any enemies? Who's your next of kin? They didn't lead me to the lieutenant's office. They led me to the barber shop. The cop Garnett's brother worked there. Oh. And this was getting ready to go down. They put me in the chair. They surrounded me. They're telling me, what are you here for? I tell them all, a shoe program. They go, for what? I said, I don't know, a few years probably. They said, okay, look, this is how it works here. This is Folsom. With the bull, you get the horns. You get the horns, you go to the hospital. That's where you're going. And they pulled the pin. And the chair went whoop, straightened right later. Eventually, somebody already told him I had the knife because they knew he was a cool. You got, and I'll come back and get you. But you're not going to stab nobody while I'm walking you.
Wow.
Cool. So he takes me back there. They tell him, put him in the shower. He goes, I'm not putting him in the shower. And if any of you don't like it, we'll be in the parking lot. So he brings me to the cell. He goes, I'm off for the next 2 days. You got to make it through that. My cell is next to Danny.
Who is Joe Morgan?
Joe Morgan's peg leg. He was one of the original cats in the Mexican mafia. Okay. So he was a shot caller, big guy. I mean, when they talked to him, Mr. Morgan, you know, he can get you killed. He never has to move or nothing. Just look at you in a way. Wow. And he goes with bodyguards. So I get crossed up. There was a guy that was with me in Tracy, right?
I'm sorry. What does crossed up mean?
It means that somebody kind of puts you in a position to where you could get hurt. They trick you. Kind of, you know. What happened was the dudes on the first row, they're all PC. So the first thing I got told when I got there was those dudes, okay, full of blacks, and we knew we had to fight for me. And I squeeze him, put him up for wine, and he hollers up after they hit the first two. So that night I hear, no clue. I'm just a youngster. So Joe hollers down, I tell him, I ain't got no oranges for you, dude. I got nothing for you. Right after I said I got nothing, a big boss. I'm a big boss. Be cool, youngster. What are you, youngster, big boss? Right? I'm like, I don't worry about him. I got to worry about every Mexican on the tier after him.
Right.
Luckily for me, Danny was from Lakewood, my homeboy, and he's in the cell next to me. So he sends me a kite. He's got an idea of some of what's going on. He goes, what's happening? I write it all down to him. This is what went on. This is how it went down. I can't send those back even if I wanted to. I'd be down there with him. He goes, I got you. And then Morgan himself hollered over. He goes, we're good. He goes, I know. I said, all right. I certainly sent him half the wine when I got done. Here you go, brother. You know, boom. And that sells. That was the first cross.
Today's episode is also sponsored by Mando. This should come as no surprise to you, but there's only one product I trust to keep my pits smelling good. Mando Whole Body Deodorant. You can use it on your whole body. Yes, your whole body. Talking about your gooch, the bottoms of your feet, the back of your kneecap, everywhere. It's dermatologist tested and gentle on all your bits. It controls odor for 72 hours, clinically proven. You can choose from 4 cologne quality scents: Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods, or go unscented if you want to get real savage with it. Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando stops odor before it starts, and you patriots, it's American made. I love this stuff. They sent me some products to try, and I'm hooked. I'm a customer now. The Bourbon Leather Whole Body Deodorant is my daily go-to. The weather is cooling off, but Mando still comes in clutch for me after the gym, and especially on date night. The last thing I want is to smell like Bigfoot's when I'm trying to get close with a lady. It's strong enough to handle your worst odors, but gentle enough for your sensitive areas because it's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and vegan. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. Are you ready to make the upgrade to Mando? New customers get $5 off of a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code Mitchell, MITCHELL, at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Thank you so much, Mando, for keeping me smelling fresh and for sponsoring the show. All right, let's get back into it.
I see. So you couldn't send the wine back because that would be getting punked out?
No, I couldn't. They were PC. They got nothing coming.
Right.
You make them think they got something coming. You know, you make them think you're good with them, but you're not. If you ever get next to them and you can get them and you don't get them, you'll be down there with them. You got to get them.
Yeah.
But you just don't talk to them. You don't, you know, none of that right there.
Right.
It's all about, you're down there, you're supposed to know what time it is. You know?
Right.
And if you're not down there, you're supposed to know what time it is. So
now you're here in Folsom, locked up with between, they got the brand on your left side, you got Leme on your right side.
Right.
How does this form into you joining a gang?
Well, I got put on the AB yard that time. So I'm seeing a lot of what's going on, right? I'm seeing guys pull knives out of their ass, leave it next to the toilet, another guy picking it up, whacking dudes. I'm watching the cops shoot the guy in the head, shoot the warning shot in the air afterwards. Wow.